How do you divide a whole number by a fraction? Today, you will learn how to divide a whole number by a fraction using area models and diagrams. So let's check out this problem. This problem says that Mia walks a 2-mile fitness trail. She stops to do jumping jacks every 1/5 of a mile. How many times does Mia stop to exercise? Well, the first thing we want to ask ourselves before we do anything else is how can we represent this word problem as a division equation? Well, we have 2 miles here, and we know that she's also going to do jumping jacks every 1/5 of a mile. So what's being divided in here? Well, we're taking 2 miles, and we're dividing it into 1/5 chunks. So the division equation would be 2 for 2 miles divided by 1/5 of a mile. And so here, 2 is our whole number, and 1/5 is our fraction, so we're dividing 2 by 1/5. Easiest way for us to do that right now is to draw a diagram. So let's say I just draw a line. Let's have one line to represent 2 miles. So the entire length of this line is going to be 2 miles. So let's take about halfway, and that's going to be from here to here is 1 mile, and then from 1 to the end, let's say it's approximately or about 2. So what we want to do, we see that she stops to do jumping jacks every 1/5 of a mile. So let's see. Let's go every 1/5. Go here's 1/5. There's 2/5. There's 3/5 of a mile. 4/5 of a mile. And 5/5 of a mile is also equal to 1. We already know that. Then we'll keep going. We'll have 6/5, 7/5, 8/5, 9/5, and 10/5, or 2 wholes. So we ask ourselves, how many times does she stop to exercise? Well, every time she stops to exercise is every 1/5 of a mile, so that's right here, here, here. These are just arrows. Well, how many times does she stop to exercise? Well, she stops here's once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So how many times does Mia stop to exercise? Well, she stops to exercise 10 times. So if we were to take 2 miles and divide that by 1/5 of a mile, we would get 10. We would get 10 equal segments. Alright, now your turn. We have the problem that says that Roger has 3 yards of string. He cuts the string into pieces that are 1/3 yards long. How many pieces of string does Roger have? Take this time now to pause the video, solve this problem, and then restart to check your answer. Alright, let's check it out. First thing we want to do is figure out what our division equation is. Well, we know that Roger has 3 yards of string, and he's going to cut the string into pieces that are 1/3 of a yard long. So we want to figure out how many pieces of string does Roger have. That sounds like a division problem where our whole is 3, because we have 3 yards of string. We're going to want to divide that into pieces that are 1/3 yards long. And we want to figure out how many total pieces we're going to get at the end. So if you're more familiar with doing an area model, even though this might be a piece of string, let's work and look at an area model. We can use the same strategy. So we have 3 yards, so we're going to want to show 3 holes. So there's 1 hole, there's There's 2 holes, and there's 3 holes. Let's just pretend these are the same approximate size. Now what we want to do is we're going to cut each string into pieces that are 1/3 long. So we'll basically just make pieces of 1/3. So here's a third. Then we'll divide this second hole into thirds as well. And this last into thirds as well. So now we've taken our 3 yards, our 3 holes, and divided it into equal pieces of 1/3. Now the question is, how many pieces of string does Roger have? Well, let's check this out. That's another way of saying how many pieces of 1/3 do I have in 3 holes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So how many pieces of string does Roger have? Roger has 9 pieces of string. So we'll change that here. Roger has 9 pieces of string, and each string is 1/3 of a yard long. Now here's a question for you to think about. When you divide a whole number by a fraction, how does the quotient compare to the dividend? So in our 2 problems, we had 2 divided by 1/5 and 3 divided by 1/3. So whatever our quotients were, and feel free to go back in the video and check, for these problems, how did they compare to the dividend? In this lesson, you have learned how to divide whole numbers by fractions.